In this video, I'll be showing you how I do the hair for the little Bella dolls. I do two different styles. I do dolls with wig caps, which is this one here with the brown and the black. They both have wig caps. And then for the lighter colored dolls, I just do them directly onto their head. Now, if you didn't like the idea of making a wig cap, you could actually just do the darker color at the top of the head instead of the skin color. These are removable wigs. Actually, they're a great idea if you want to give a cancer patient a present, a little doll, because they do love the idea of a bald doll that has a removable wig. So you can try that for yourself. And also if you wanted to mix and match, if you did want to avoid making a wig cap, you could just do the darker color across the top up here for the first 5 rounds. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you wouldn't want it to come any lower because then it will cut into where you're doing the eyebrows. To this little doll here, her hair is also removable. So I'll just take that off, another little wig cap. And you can interchange them. I'll just actually put up a couple of photos to show you how they look with their different hairstyles. So today I'll be using the brown wig as an example, and I'll make the wig cap, and I'll even show you how to sew on the wig cap so that it's not the removable style. I actually used this 8-ply cotton. I'm in Australia, so I don't know if these brands are available in your local area, but the brand is Lincraft, and it actually feels really, really nice. I think it's really important to use good quality cotton or wool, whatever you decide, because the little girls, which is usually who's playing with the dolls, they love the idea of playing with the hair, and if it feels nice, it just does create a nice feeling, I suppose. This one here was a brand called Shaun the Sheep, and I will put that up as well. The cap begins with a magic circle, so I just hold my thread in front of my fingers like this, and then just hold onto it with my thumb. Now just take the thread and wrap it across the front of your finger like this, go underneath, and then back across the top, and then you can just hold onto it with this other finger to keep it secure. Now just take your hook and go under that first strand and grab it with your hook, the second wrap that you made, pull that through, lay your hook down. Now you just want to go under that strand again, and I just pull down on this finger a little just to open up the space and make it easier for the hook to get through, and there you have your nice simple magic circle. So for the first round, we're just going to be doing 6 single crochets in there, and you're going to be going under both these strands. So just take your hook and go under there and do 6 single crochets. Now for this first round, you don't want to do your tension too tight, because then when you're doing round 2, it's very hard to get back into those really tight stitches. So just keep a nice relaxed tension. Actually, the whole wig cap, you don't have to do such a tight tension as you would when you're making the body for the doll. You can just keep it nice and relaxed. So now we have our 6 single crochets in there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 up the top here, and then just hang on to your hook and thread, and then you just pull onto that strand there, and there's your little magic circle. Now I don't tighten it too tight until I've done round 2, because everything just gets a little bit too squishy if you do it right now, and I just like to have a little bit of space because sometimes it's a bit tricky to get under these little V's if you do your stitches too tight. So now round 2 will be to increase 6, and so I've gone under that first stitch, there's my first single crochet, and go back in there again. So those 2 single crochets will make the increase. So there's our first increase. And now we've got increase number 2. And then under this V for increase number 3. And you just continue around until you've done your 6 increases. And the very last increase. So we have our 6 increases for round 2, and now is a good time to put your marker in. So I just use a piece of thread. It just makes it nice and simple, and I find that just using a piece of thread and running it through the whole doll, through the whole wig cap, and just take that through and pull it through. So now for round 3, we're just going to be doing single crochet 1 and then an increase, and you want to do that 6 times. So single crochet 1 and then an increase, and just continue around for 6 times, or if you're not into counting, that's what markers are good for, until you reach your marker. So you're just doing that pattern. And just coming up to our final single crochet 1 and increase, and it's landing on the marker, so we know that we haven't missed anything. So now for round 4 will be to single crochet 2 and then an increase. So single crochet 1, 2, and then the increase. And our final pattern of single crochet 2 and then an increase. It's 1, 2, and then the last stitch, which is where the marker would have gone, and then the increase. I actually don't move the marker every round. I usually just move it every few rounds, but in the beginning I did move it every single round. So there we go. We have our single crochet 2 and increase round. So now we're going to be doing another round of increases, and then I'll show you on the doll how you can just test it to see if it's wide enough, because if you're making a wig cap for a different size doll to Bella, you just follow the same pattern, but you'll just need to do some extra rounds of increases for a larger doll and less for a smaller doll. So for round 5, we're going to single crochet 3 and then an increase, and we'll be doing that 6 times or until you've reached the marker. So there's 2 and now 3, and then the increase. And you just continue around, and I'll see you at the other end. And our final set of single crochet 3 and the increase, so that's 1, 2 and 3, and then the increase, which is landing on the marker, so that's great. And now I'll just show you how it fits on a doll. I feel like this will probably still be a little small because I actually did quite a tight tension, which I normally do a looser tension than this for the wig caps, but probably because I'm filming. So now I'll just show you how it's fitting. You just place the circle at the top of her head. Just move that strand out of the way. Now just place it at the top. Now it does actually look like it's the right size, but because when I do the wig caps, as you do more rounds, I actually do put the wig cap on to the side like this. So if I was to now just continue around in single crochet 30, it would be a really tight fit. So I'm going to do another round of increases, which is single crochet 4 and increase, and then we'll see how it fits, because I think the single crochet 4 and increase will be the perfect size for Bella with this particular wool here, so cotton I should say. So that's 2, 3 and 4, and then an increase, and you're just going to do that 6 times or do that routine until you reach the marker. So we finished doing the increases now, and we'll just be doing for round 7 and 8, and then I will test how it fits on Bella. So round 7 and 8 will be to single crochet 36 around, and I'll meet you back here and we'll just take a look to see how it fits on Bella. So I've completed round 7 and 8, and it gives me a little cup shape now, and I'll just show you how it's fitting on Bella. So we're just going to have the cap at the side like this, and that actually looks like it's going to be a good fit. So I'm just going to do a couple more rounds of single crochet 36 around and then just see how that looks, because we just need a little more coverage, and I think 2 more rounds will do it. So I'm going to just continue around to single crochet 36 for rounds 9 and 10, and then I'll see you back at the marker and we'll just have another look to make sure that it's fitting Bella's head properly. So I've completed rounds 9 and 10, so 7, 8, 9 and 10, they're all single crochet 36, and I'm just going to stretch this out a little and then just show you how it fits onto her head. So when I do a wig cap, I actually place it at the side like this, and that's actually a good fit, like that. So the next step will be to show you how I can make this a removable wig. So instead of sewing this straight on now, what I do is I just take a whole bunch of pins and I pin it all the way around the outside edge of the doll, and that holds it nice and securely. I even put a couple in the center, and then I just put the strands through, and when I finished doing all the strands I removed the pins, and then that would give me my removable wig. So I've placed the pins around the outside edge of the little cap, and now if you're doing a removable wig cap, you would want to put an extra pin in between each one of these, because you just want it to be held more securely as you're pulling through all the separate strands of hair. So then once you've finished placing all the hair, that's when you can just remove the pins and you have your removable wig cap. So for the purpose of sewing it on, I actually forgot to mention to leave a nice long tail when you finish the last round of your cap. And the first thing I'll do is just to make a back stitch. Basically I back stitch all the way around. So you're just going to go behind this first round here, or it was the last round actually, but behind these little V's, just going back into the last stitch. So you're going behind where you just came out of, and then just go up into there, making your way all the way around the outside edge of the cap. and then back again. And be sure to make sure that you are actually going in under the skin colour. Just pull that through. You may need some pliers because sometimes it's actually a little bit hard to pull your needle through, but once again, just go behind that last stitch, go under that and come out to the next space. So the wig cap is now sewn on. I've gone around in those back stitches and it's nice and secure. You can just see here where I did those back stitches. And now the next step will be to put the strands in through all these little spaces. I'll show you how I do the part, and you can do the part in the center or on the side. I've wrapped some strands just around this little book because it happens to be just a good length for this little doll here. And you'll need to do a lot more wraps than this, but basically you just wrap as you go. And now I just take my scissors and just give that a little snip. And then you'll just have your separate strands ready for threading. Then just take your crochet hook and you just want to fold each strand in half like this. And I basically start by just doing the outside edge first, and I have my hook facing downways down towards the feet. There's many different methods. It's just something that I find nice and easy to do. So you just put your hook like this, hold onto your strand, and then just pull that through, yarn over and pull through again. And then you just give it a little tug, and there's strand number 1. And there really is many more to go. So basically I'm just going to go all the way around this outside edge with my hook actually facing down towards her feet, each time just picking up one strand. Now if you chose to use embroidery thread, then I would use 2 strands of embroidery thread for each one of these spaces. And then once we've done the outside edge, I'll show you how I do the part in the center. So I've made my way around the outside edge of the wig cap, going into each little space. And now it's time to do the part. You can do your part in the center, but I actually really like doing my parts on the side. So then just decide where you want your part to be. Now in that space, wherever that part will be, I always just do another strand in there. So we'll just to fill it up a little. And then just pull that through the way you did with all the others. Now you're going to be working across to the back. So now we'll just pull on that a little. There we go. That way when you do push the hair to the side, there's not this little gap inside. You may even want to do a second strand in there once you've finished doing all the other parts. So now I just go from where I've put that little stitch in, I'm going to be going sideways into the next round, like this one. And then just take your strand and pull that through. And just give it a little tug each time. So I'm going to make my way down these little gaps just in here. So I would do this until I reach the back of her head. So you're going to be needing, well, I've done 3 there now, so it would be 4, 5, and 6. So there'll be approximately 6 strands by the time you're at the back of her head, all going into the side. I've placed those 6 strands into the top of her head, and now we're just going to turn her around. And we're going to be going back into the same space that you went in to make this one that's going on this side here. So into that same space, and then out to the next open little gap, and then just thread that through. And then pull down to this side. So now you're just going to continue that into each one of these spaces and right up to the very front here. And now the very last strand, which will finish in helping to create the part on the head, and we just pull that through. And now you can see that by going into those same spaces, by sharing that one hole but threading it through in the opposite direction. So with this side, you placed your hook going towards her arm this way, then you turn the doll around, and then you just go back into those same spaces again that you were in for the first one going down, and you thread through going down to the left arm like that, all the way till you get to this very front row here. Now that the part is done, the rest of the head needs to be filled in. So basically I just move the part out of the way, and then, now depending on how much coverage you want, how much hair you actually want, you could now go really close to this one. Now if I was using embroidery thread, I would definitely start in this very next round here, or row, make a row here. But because this is a very thick chunky cotton, I'm going to go skip this one here and just go down into the next one. So just push your hook in there, and you're going to be doing the same thing that you did here with the hook facing towards her feet or arm. And then just take that through and pull it. So we'll just go into this next space and just keep traveling towards the back, and then I think we'll just do the same again for one more round underneath this one. So we'll just take a look each round. So pull that through and just keep traveling down until you meet up with these ones here. And here's the 6 strands that I've put through in this row here. I actually didn't realize when I was filming that I hadn't put one here at the very, very front. The first one that I showed you was this one here. So I did come back and put this one here at the front, and then that gave me a total of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. It doesn't have to be exactly 6, it's just the way it's turning out with this particular yarn that I'm using. So then just flip that over to the side. Oh, the color changed a lot then. Now we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to skip this row here. They're not exact rows, but you can sort of see where they fall. And then at the very edge, just going into this space here, and then just go under, take your strand, and then just repeat the same process that we did for those first rows of strands that we placed, and keeping the hook facing towards the doll's arms and down towards her feet. So just continue on there, and then we will take a look and see what she looks like. So I've done my 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 strands there in that next little row. So now you want to do the same thing to the other side. So just take her hair, turn her around, and you want to do the same thing that you did for the other side and leave that little space, because remember in here is that center part. So you're going to be skipping this little row here and then just go into the next one. You can start from the back or the front. I mix it up a bit, just depends on the doll or the mood. Now just go in there and pick up your strands and do 2 more rows of those 6 strands. So I've done my 2 little rows here of the 6 strands each. This was the part here. Now because I did my part on the side of her head, I realized that I need to actually do another 1 or 2 more rows across here on the other side, just to make everything nice and balanced. So I'm just going to go back to this side here and add some more strands here, and then I'll get back to you to see how we can handle the back area. So I've just done that little row there just to even things up now. So from the back I just do the same procedure, but I now start going across the back here, and for the first row I do just go under each one little loop. I'll just put my needle into these spaces here, my hook, and we'll just start here in between the rows. So we'll just go back in there. And then I'll just be making my way across to the other side. So there's our strands threaded through the back of the head going straight across the back. So now you're going to be doing the exact same thing all the way around from the side of the head all the way across, only this time you'll be going into 2 spaces. Now because it sort of goes up a little here, I would actually do a couple more of the single spaces in these, say, 6 stitches across here. So I would do another 6 going here, and then from then on we'll be going through 2 spaces and working our way across the bottom. So now we're able to work our way from the side of the head all the way across to the other side of the head. Now you can decide whether you want to go through 1 space or 2. I'm going to be going through 2 spaces this time, and I'll show you what I mean with that. So you just push your hook through. Now instead of just coming out of the next space like that, I just go down under there and go under 2 spaces, and then just pull it through both those spaces. Now it does make a longer loop, but it can't really be seen because all the hair on the top covers it all. So I'll leave that up to you whether you do 1 or 2 spaces, and as you can see it just makes a little bit of a longer loop. So then I'm just going to be not really doing them really close together, just leave a little space here and there, but in general you'll be going straight across the back and coming down here and making a whole new row down here by the time you've come around here. And now here's that round where row where I've gone down through 2 spaces, and I've just gone all the way around from the front to the back. Now you'll see that there's a little more room, and I'll be doing 1 or 2 more rounds. I'm not really sure. I'll just have to take a look to see how she looks with her hair, and I will probably be two more rounds, and then the doll will be complete. So basically you're going from one end all the way around to the other end, and you're going to be going through 2 spaces. Here's little Bella with all her hair strands in place. I'll just show you from the back. I actually haven't given her a haircut yet. She just needs a little trim here at the back, but otherwise everything has turned out nice and neat. Now, when you're doing the hair straight onto the actual scalp, just follow the same steps. Just first do a row going down to the back, to the crown of the head, and then turn the doll around and just go into the same hole again, and that will create your part. And then from there you can just do your rows. It all really just does depend on what type of yarn you use, how many rows you need to do, and how much spacing you need between each strand that you put through. So with the little Bella doll that has the Shaun the Sheep wool that I used, it's actually very chunky and I don't use as many strands, so it really just does depend on your actual thread that you're using for their hair. So thank you very much for joining me. Thank you for taking the time to watch my video. If you enjoyed it, I would love a like. And if you're not subscribed, please do subscribe to my channel, because I will be making videos for removable clothes for the little Bella doll. Thank you. Bye.